Hey guys, and welcome back. It is the season to be S.H.I.E.L.D., so I'm gonna be talking Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. once again on this video, only this time we're gonna be talking theories. Now my theories on this video are gonna be based on a lot of things, the first of which is all the trailers that we got prior to the airing of the season, all the interviews that we got as well, the premiere that just aired a couple of days ago, and finally the promo or trailer, whatever you want to call it, for the second episode of the season. And that last one in specific gave us a moment that's either throwing us off or basically giving us a key to what's going on with the character of Sarge. Now before I get to Sarge, because that's going to be the major thing we're going to be talking about over the course of this video, we're going to talk about Fitz for a little bit. Now this first one over here is less of a theory and more of a prediction. I do believe that whatever it is that Fitz injected himself with at the end of the premiere was basically all about blending in. It doesn't give him superpowers, he's not getting superpowers, and that yellow eye that he gets at the end of the episode, from the injection, that's all about becoming one of the people, one of the aliens that he lives with. Now we know that the second episode of the season is going to be partially about the struggle that both Fitz and Enoch have got to go through in order to survive out there. So yeah, I do think that the blending in is all about an integral part of what he needs to do over there in order to make sure that they don't realize he's a human. Now from the premiere of the season, we all know that the Confederacy is still out there. Of course they are still out there, but nonetheless, we know that they're still after the Inhumans and still after Daisy. Now with Daisy and with S.H.I.E.L.D., it's like a mix of two things. The first of these two is that S.H.I.E.L.D. did destroy one of their ships at the end of last season, that being the ship with Kovas. The other one is basically that they wanted Inhumans, Daisy is an Inhuman, and Daisy was actually one of the targets, and there's no good reason they changed their mission statement. They still want Inhumans, so Daisy is a target. Now that means that Fitz being part of S.H.I.E.L.D. would make him a target, unless he actually hides in plain sight, unless he blends in. And also means the second prediction, which is basically that the Confederacy is still gonna be after Daisy and after the team that's searching for Fitz. You need to remember over here that the premiere made sure to emphasize that Daisy's made a name for herself in space. So yeah, the Confederacy caught wind of that and they're gonna be after her. And that is probably going to be all the way until they find Fitz, make it back to Earth, and possibly even after that. Now as far as predictions go, that's it for now, so let's start talking theories, and there are a lot of theories when it comes to Coulson, when it comes to his team, and when it comes to Butterfly. One of them will actually link back to the Confederacy. Now we had a couple of Easter eggs and possible references on this episode. I'm not saying all of them were meant to be references or meant to be Easter eggs, but nonetheless we're looking at all the hints, all the possible hints, and trying to make something out of it. Now one of these Easter eggs was straight out talk about ley lines, and ley lines in the comics, and I'm not going to prolong this because I've already talked about it on my review video, are all about the organization known in the comics as Courtco. Now the name Courtco brings us to the name of Edwin Court, and Edwin Court is the CEO of none other than Courtco Inc. The thing about Edwin Court is he's been responsible at some point on the pages of the comics for the funding of the Raiders. Now the Raiders are a group of mercenaries armored by Edwin Court to the teeth and used by him for his own agenda. An agenda where someone like Tony Stark and an organization like S.H.I.E.L.D. were actually targets. Think about it this way, one of their attacks was basically an attack against an exhibition in a similar manner to the attack at the end of Iron Man 2. Now just to remind you of the link over here, the ley lines were something of interest to Courtco in the comics. They wanted to research that stuff. So what if this is basically pulling out of that kind of arc? Maybe, just maybe, someone hired Sarge in order to destroy this world, and that person could be either Cassius or Tarian or the Confederacy as a whole. The objective over here would be to kick in as saviors, possibly kick in as saviors, just like they did on Season 5 in the Broken Timeline, and they would, in this case, turn the humans into slaves just like they did with them, and have the Inhumans for the taking, to sell to the highest bidder. Now so far, this theory is all about the why, but not the who. So to talk about theories about the who, let's start with a fresh one, and then move on to the other ones that I've mentioned before, and kind of elaborate on them. Now this fresh theory kind of revolves around the truck that Sarge drives. A lot of people noticed, not me, I only noticed it when it was mentioned, but nonetheless a lot of people noticed that this truck resembles the Devil Rig from the comics. Now we've been talking demons, demonic dimensions, hell, the possibility that he's Sarge from the comics, the Hellhound from the comics, and then we get this, a truck that resembles the Devil Rig from the comics. Now, just like the cases with Johnny Blaze and his motorcycle, with Robbie Reyes and his Charger, the Devil Rig is yet another mode of transportation for yet another Ghost Rider, and it is yet another one that's bound to a spirit of vengeance. So yeah, it does go into flames and whatnot. Now pay attention here, because I know a lot of people are gonna take my words to mean that Coulson is yet another Ghost Rider, Sarge that is, but the truth is, that's not really what I'm saying over here. I think what I'm trying to say over here is either one, they're basically trying to tell us, you know, you've always expected Coulson is gonna end up being a Ghost Rider, so we're giving you this, like a nod to the comics, but he's none of that. Or two, they're basically telling us, hey, this is your hint, this guy originates from hell, he belongs to hell. Now, if this happens to be option number 2, there are a multitude of options, but the one that comes to mind considering the name Sarge is that he is Sarge from the comics, you know, the Hellhound from the comics. Now, whatever his mission is over here, it's basically about destruction, he's up to no good, and we know that, it's kind of pretty obvious. This is most definitely not a guy who's here to correct the timeline as a lot of people did expect. That's gonna be the job of the Chronicom Hunters. This is a guy who's out there to destroy. His main purpose over here is destruction, nothing more, nothing less. Now, while all of these theories that I've got over here might change as we watch more episodes, this is so far my theory on the who. So we've got 2 theories so far, one on the why and one on the who. Why is he doing this, and who is he? So the one aspect that still needs addressing over here is the how. How does this guy look like Coulson? But let us start here by listing all the related facts, be it either the facts from the series or the facts from the comics. So number 1, on the trailer we've got Daisy trying to convince May that the guy in there, not the guy in there, is not the man that she loves. Now, at a very first glimpse, you would think, okay, this could mean multiple things. She could be talking about it in the metaphorical sense, like, hey, he just looks like him. He's not the guy. This is not the guy, neither body nor soul. He just happens to look like him. But then again, there is the actual literal sense, like the body of this guy is the body of the man you loved, but now it's occupied by someone else. But that, though, does bring us to the second fact that kind of emphasizes that she did mean it in the literal sense. So you've got the trailer for next week's episode, and on that trailer you've got May referring to Sarge in his face as Coulson, and after that there is Jacko asking him, Coulson, what does that mean? Now, on one hand we've got Sarge responding to Agent Fox with never heard of it when he tells him, you're from S.H.I.E.L.D., yet we do see him responding to Jacko's question on the trailer of next week's episode with I don't know, but it rings a bell. But let us move on though to fact number 3. Fact number 3 is all about Coulson lacking on empathy. Coulson is a man all about the mission, all about getting his team together in order to finish the mission. But fact number 4 is that there's a butterfly in the comics just like the butterfly on the series. We do not know if they're the same person, but the butterfly in the comics is a mutant, and that mutant has the ability to resurrect people with no memory of who they were and with no empathy, which kind of fits the bill over here. So let us assume for a moment that this guy is Coulson, because a lot of things are pointing us in the direction that this guy is Coulson, and let us assume that Butterfly is either Butterfly from the comics or an Easter egg to the fact that this guy was resurrected and ended up being Sarge, but he's originally Coulson. Now, I don't think I need to explain more over here or to elaborate more, but there is one iteration that I could add over here, which is basically that the deal that he made with the devil at the end of Season 4 had more clauses to it than he did let on during Season 5. Now, that could mean that after he dies, his body and his soul do go to hell, and they are used for whatever. And this is basically the use that they found suitable over there. Why does Sarge have memories, though, of a life in crime with this gang? It's possibly because they implanted those memories. I mean, it's not the first time that we hear of memories being implanted on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., let alone that he's coming from hell in this case, which means that nothing is really impossible at this moment. So hell no, don't try to rationalize this. I mean, you're watching a comic book TV series, so suspension of belief is kind of important over here. But in the way of predictions and in the way of theories, that's all I've got based on the first episode and the trailer for the second episode. So let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the first episode, what you thought of the trailer for the second episode, and if you've got any theories of your own on what's going on with Sarge. Let me know as well if you did like this video by dropping it a much appreciated like, subscribing to this channel, and just make sure to enable notifications in order to get updated whenever I post a new video, publish a new community post, or start a new live stream. But until the next time that you tune in for another one of my videos, AOS or otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in to this one, and have a great day.